Okay, second video concerning boards. And today I want to talk about why this might be very interesting for guys who are actually interested in strengthening their wrist and their crushing grip. Now, what you first have to keep in mind is when you build a fist, right? You press all your fingers as tightly as you can and put your thumb underneath it, so that when you punch, you don't hurt, you don't break your thumb, which is very important. Before, they had it always here on the side, but when you have it here on the side, the thing is that first, the risk for injury of your thumb is increased, and second, you cannot really grab the fist tight enough to really get your max punching power on your target. So therefore there was some development going on in martial arts history where they first punched like that, and then they saw, well, it's even better if we punch like that, because then we have even more punching power and there's less risk for injury of your thumb. That's the first thing. So obviously, in order for you to deliver the maximum force, which is important to break it, or to make sure that you break it, you have to make a strong fist. And the second thing is, every boxer knows this. When you punch a heavy bag, which is filled sort of with cloth, a bit with gravel, maybe a bit with plastic grains, whatsoever. And if you push it down and you tighten the bag, so you make it more dense, it's obviously way harder to punch it and way more taxing for your knuckles and your wrist if you continuously punch it, let alone punch it several times with power punches. Okay? That's one thing. And you can imagine with a board like this and you having no gloves on, that this can be dangerous, of course, but only dangerous if you don't build a concrete and a correct fist. And of course, you have to warm up your knuckles, you have to warm up your wrist. And by training these time after time, let's say once in a month or two, you can really strengthen your wrist extremely. Because once you go back from those boards which you hit with your bare fist, it's obviously always easier to hit then the heavy bag with gloves. And yeah, so that is very important for strengthening your crushing grip, and what I would also say for your crushing wrist strength, because once you hit it with full force, the whole power of the board will go into your wrist, and if it's not strong enough, well, it will either snap like this or that, or it will break. So therefore you also have to make sure that you start with a beginner's board, which is, for example, 1 centimeter. I think this is something that should be capable to crush for anybody, at least with a power punch, maybe not with a normal soft jab or something like that, but I think at least with the strongest hand and the strongest punch, this should be definitely breakable for everyone if it's set in the right place, and if somebody's able to hold it with extreme force in front of you. Now, of course, the lighter this one is and the thinner this one is, the less strength you need to put on the board to keep it in place. But once the board becomes heavier and thicker, so more dense, this is maybe something that not everybody can do. So then you should really look for sort of a machine, sort of a hold where you can attach the boards to, so that you don't need any human to hold the boards for you. So this is definitely something that is good for guys in grip who want to strengthen their wrists too, because it's simply a fraction of a second where your wrist is being tortured, so to speak. It's a fraction of a second, but this fraction of a second makes everything different. And I heard guys saying they are good at grip, but they don't have a good wrist. And they don't find it so beneficial or so rewarding, for example, to do hammer leveraging and all that stuff. which is rewarding if you are a boxer, for example, because then you don't do it simply for looks, but you have a concrete purpose for it then. But if you're not a striker, not a martial artist where you use your fists, you won't find wrist training so rewarding. For me, it's okay. I love it because I know what I can do to the heavy bag afterwards. But for guys who don't do this sport, it's not so rewarding. That's the problem what most of the people have who want to train wrist. And this is just a cool alternative, basically, because you see it in front of your very eyes. If you see, for example, okay, a month ago I was able to crush this board, and let's say half a year from then you do it again, and you are able to crush the thicker board. Well, that obviously means that not only your punching power got harder, but also your wrist and your crush, because you can have all the punching power in the world, guys. If you don't have the bones to deliver, you will injure yourself. And that is why, guys, we say bones are stronger than muscles. So always keep that in mind. Yeah, that's for that. And now I'm going to talk about in the next video maybe a little bit more about how you can apply this into your boxing training, but I think I already did so. I think I want to go a little bit more into details concerning karatekas and boxers, and especially concerning their training with the board. So see you then.